Welcome, welcome. There we go. Jeez, what's going on today, man? Things are a little bit messed up. Welcome to the closing beat. Take like 4 today. Just trying to figure out how this works. It's not streaming the right way, man. It's not going the way it normally goes. But nonetheless, we're live here. We've got it actually working with you. Happy to be with you. Let me just make sure. Yeah, sure enough, it's not working right. How's it going? All right, let's get started here. This is our stock market update show. We do just cover the good, the bad, and the ugly with the stock market for the day. We do it every day. Usually things go a lot better than they do right now, but hey, we're here. We're doing it. Also, we're playing a game. It's called Guess the Dow. Bottom right-hand corner of your screen, you can go to the website, Guess the Dow. If you're closest without going over, we'll send you a $100 gift card. And special shout out to Mr. Dave. Dave, one of our customers, he knows that we have money, list foreign currencies, dollar bills people send us and sign and things, and we're sort of building a wall little by little here. And he sent over some cool things, man. Look, it's $5 from Singapore. He said, I mean, everywhere. We got Malaysia on here. Obviously, we got a euro. That one's pretty straightforward. Taiwan. I've never even seen one of these before. Look at that. It's 1,000 something or other from Taiwan. Bank of Korea. Got $10 from Canada, China here as well. I just sent a few little bills that we could put up on our wall, just sort of doing like international currency. Look at that Chinese one, by the way, on the back of that thing. If the light comes a little bit better, that is beautiful, by the way. So thanks, Mr. David, for sending that. We'll get those put on the wall there for you. I appreciate it. You're welcome to send if you want to put it on the wall. We don't spend the money or anything, but if you do it, just small denominations. Even if it's foreign currency, it still counts. We're not allowed to send or accept anything over $100 as financial advisors. That's why our gift for Guess the Dow happens to be $100 there. Anyways, let's dive into the markets here today. We got the Dow higher by 15, S&P basically flat on the day. Another flat day. We were pretty much positive most of the day, and then right at the end of the day, people just said, why should I pay up, right? The day traders took their profits. Everything was done, gone back to zero by the end of the day. The NASDAQ lost 5 points there at the end of the day, basically flat, really. I mean, a very, very slow start to the Monday there. We remain in sort of a consolidation period up at highs. I'm going to try a different sort of chart here if I can share this with you. Oh, there we go. So we just kind of remain in a nice little consolidation up here near highs. We've got this high to talk about, right? Getting to all-time highs. What's it going to take? Last week we had all but one economic indicator, the manufacturing number that came out on Mondays. All but just that one was positive. And it was on a week where the Fed cut rates. So we had great econ news come out. Everything was good there. But we talked about this on Friday. What's the catalyst? What gets us above these highs? What gets everybody so excited that they just absolutely have to buy over these highs? Can I just show the S&P 500 here? There, it's a little bit better. So what is it? We got 3025 here. That's our magic number. We have, think of the news events that are in focus. You got the Fed. You've got trade, right, in focus. You got upcoming earnings, sort of, not really, they're on the horizon, whatever. And you have potentially like some political news, right? It could be like something out of the Democratic nominees there, maybe starting to take the headlines a little bit. But other than that, like what's the catalyst that's going to get people to say, I got to buy the stock market at all-time highs? I don't see it, right? We're just not there yet. So for that reason, we sort of sit near highs. Now, historically, that's a good thing. That markets sit at highs and consolidate tends to be a very positive thing in terms of breaking to new highs, but we've always had a catalyst, so if it's not trade related, what's it gonna be? Last week, every popular ETF index finished in the red, whether you use the SPY, the Dow, Russell 2000, the IWM, your mid caps, small caps, NASDAQ, whatever it is, all finished just slightly in the negative for the week. You also had consumer discretionary. I'm just gonna go through, let's just show these while we're here, huh? Let's do it. So all the popular ETFs, here's the DIA, just a little bit negative on the week. XLY, a little bit negative on the week. I got a piece of data missing there, actually. Basically, that's what happened last week. Utilities stay in sort of the strength mode. Here's the XLU, which I tried to get it to where you could actually see the name of it this time. Still very much in an uptrend today. When we talk about stocks that hit new highs, a lot of them were utilities, so we'll cover that. Communication services coming in last week, still a little bit negative on the week. Healthcare stood out. We talked about that a few times. Healthcare trying to break above a range there. And we could probably just zoom out a little bit further. There you go. But all in all, yeah, just pretty quiet in terms of performance going on to start the week here. I do want to talk about semiconductors. The SMH is one that you can look at, although one little piece of data is missing from there. The SMH did reverse course just a little bit today. And, well, we had comments, same comments. I mean, I hate covering the same thing over and over again. There were just comments out of the White House. Looked at the China trade talks from last week were productive and constructive. We keep hearing the same words. They're using the same words. It's just, you know, it helped boost a sector. Didn't really help boost the markets. I think we're all kind of like getting old here with the phrasing. Even the algorithms are, you know, they see productive and constructive in the sort of press release there, and then nothing happens, right? It still doesn't get anything done. So I don't know. We'll see what happens there. Again, looking for a catalyst. What is it? What's going to take us higher? There's just nothing there. Oil, a little bit higher here today on the... well, here's what's happening. So last Monday, we got the bombing thing, or the missile that hit the Saudi Arabian production facilities. Saudi Arabia very quickly said, we're basically up and running. We'll have the rest of it up by the end of September. After a little more research, it seems like analysts believe that's probably not going to happen. So the price of oil up just a little bit. Like I said Friday, it's finding its zone. It's sort of settling in there. Everything looking at least a little bit supported here in the short term. XRT. If you happen to follow along on the XRT, that's your retail. It's kind of bouncing off a trend line here. I don't have the best way to show it today, but you see this little sort of downtrend here. If you were to draw a line, I probably could draw a line somewhere, but I don't know how. Getting a little bit of a bounce off that downtrend line here today, and so, you know, that's basically it as far as the sectors go. Let's cover some stocks here. Did you happen to see Amazon today? Amazon down a little bit. Morgan Stanley cut its price target to $2,200 from $2,300. Okay, the stock trading at $1,800. So they cut their price target a little bit. They said, we're just adjusting down a little bit because of the one-day shipping. They now factor that it's going to take a little bit more of a hit out of their earnings than expected, but in the long term, it's going to be a benefit. So they were largely positive on it. They just cut their price target just a little bit. Chewy.com, the PetSmart company there, they were upgraded today. Look, a lot of people have been sort of beating up on Chewy because of competition there, profit margins. That's not cheap. If you look on that Chewy, they don't really, I mean, they make it look like there's a discount, but there's not really much of a discount on there. But they said, hey, despite that, they have an infrastructure, distribution infrastructure that you just can't compete with right now, and that the profit margins are overblown. And so Nomura was the ones that actually upgraded the stock. They said, no worries, it'll be just fine. That's it. Best Buy. Actually, it didn't really spike all that much. Just a tiny pop-up on Best Buy here today. Morgan Stanley is very wise to be ahead of the game here. That Best Buy is going to get in more into healthcare in terms of like wearable healthcare products and things like that, where they can get into the senior care and sort of bring that mix into it. Not just selling them the product, but offering the service and everything going forward. Morgan Stanley says that's going to add about 11 to 46 billion in long-term revenue. It's a big difference there, 11 to 46 billion. So the stock was a little higher on the day. I thought it would have been a little bit higher than that, but that's basically that. American Express a little higher on the day, up about 1.2%. They're buying back 120 million shares, so another company to buy back shares. They also raised their dividend by 10%. It's now 43 cents a share. Nice, right? So looking good there. Not looking good was Take-Two Interactive, sold off here today. I didn't follow this, but the Borderlands game, Borderlands 3, I guess, although it beat expectations for them, didn't beat analysts' expectations in terms of the first 5 days sales or whatever. I didn't even catch it. Usually I'm on these things. I didn't even happen to see that. Netflix was a little bit lower on the Emmy results. HBO stole the show in terms of number of Emmys that they won. Netflix came in second. I believe Amazon came in third. Here's a stock where it was up 50%. Year to date, and the year's not even over yet, and it gave all of it back, right? So we dug a little bit deeper here to give you some stats. You want some stats on this? Where are you guys at? Can I even see you guys today? There you are. There you are. Okay. Netflix, from this point, when it gets as extended as it is, the average 5-day bounce is 1.88% of the time. 67% of the time, it does bounce that 1.88% of the time. So we are going to track that going forward just to see. No doubt it has sold off here a little bit, quite weak in the short term. But you got some stats to back you up there. You guys like the stats? I don't have to do the stats, by the way. It's all, if you don't like them, sure would save me a lot of time. I don't like to keep it to myself, if I can help you out. Okay, so there you go. Netflix, although down today, statistically looking like it's going to bounce, or supposed to bounce here in the short term. So we'll keep up with that. This is day one. Nielsen, by the way, that was our other stat that we're following. And then I'll move on to the rest of it. This thing's not right. Let's move on over here. Fix this real quick. So Nielsen, that was the one to the downside, right? So Nielsen statistically moved to the downside. It didn't do anything today. So it got almost all of it done on Friday with 1.11%, just about 1% drop on Friday. Average drop on this was 1.16 over 5 days. We're on day number 2. We just need it to blip down a little bit more, and that will be the official 1%. So almost there. And then we'll keep tracking this Netflix, if you don't mind, just to see what happens there. I mean, I got a ton of them, but since we're a little off today, we'll do that another time. All right, here we go. 70% of the S&P still above the 50-day moving average, 70.3% actually. So we ticked up by 2 percentage points from Friday there. All looking good. You had 19 new 52-week highs today. 3 of them were home builders. Those are the strong ones that we talked about. A couple days ago, we went through the home builders in more detail to show the performance relative to its individual sector there. Dr. Horton, Lennar, and Pulte Homes were the 3 52-week highs today, looking good, continuing their strength. There were 9 utilities, right? So it gives you an idea. That sector's still on fire. Out of the 19 new highs today, 9 of them were utilities. Then you had some defensive names. I always look at the list just to see if there's anything that sticks out, and defensive was what stuck out to me here today. Walmart, Procter & Gamble, and Dollar Tree were names in the 52-week high list. You notice the rotation in retail from some of the more traditional retail names, the sort of headline names, to the more budget-conscious areas, right? People are now thinking Walmart's the way to go. Dollar Tree's the way to go, as people are starting to assume that the consumer might be tapped out. This could be like the last Christmas of the cycle, and everybody's like, all right, I've spent enough money, and these companies can't grow anymore. We'll see. So you got that sort of push. That's got to be noted there. That defensive sort of play continues to be in play. Only one new low today, and that was FedEx. FedEx, remember, they had just a horrible earnings announcement last week, and so just continuing a little bit lower on that today. Oh, okay. Yeah, FedEx. And then Altria, we mentioned this one last week, talking about that bounce off the lows. We gave it to you on Thursday to give you the idea of that volume. You can go in and check it out there. Today, a little bit higher as well. So I'll stop following Altria now since we've kind of walked you through that one. I like to walk, if you're watching for the first time, I like to walk you through things as they happen, like before they happen, so I can kind of share and teach with you along the way. What else do we have here? CarMax earnings tomorrow. Can this be 7 straight earnings beats? They have beat on earnings 7 straight times in a row. It was a great reversal today back towards those highs, so it appears that people are believing they're going to beat on earnings. Again, they beat on earnings the last 6 times in a row. We'll find out tomorrow if they beat for the 7th time. $1.33 expected per share. Give you an idea what's going on. By the way, CarMax coming strong, competing with Carvana. CVNA is Carvana's ticker symbol, very strong stock. Where Carvana, you buy your car online, 100% online, they drop it off to your house. Awesome service. Bought my wife's last car that way, literally just right at the dealership too, because I did a video on it because the dealer was like, yeah, whatever. Went on Carvana, I'm like, can you match this price? Couldn't match it. I'm like, okay, bye. Thanks, have a good day. And so they delivered it right to our house, so it was really quick. Well, CarMax is no dummy. They picked up on this, and now in our state, my state here in Florida, you could actually buy a car on CarMax all online. So that means they become more competitive price-wise because you can, you compare it to Carvana pretty quick. And Virginia, I believe. I talking to a customer said Virginia. They were also all online in Virginia. Well, anyways, CarMax says we're going to take care of this by 2020. You'll be able to just nationwide buy a car. So that's real competition for Carvana coming up here in the short term. All right, Ulta, if you're following Ulta, keeps bouncing off the lows thanks to that Kramer bounce there. Late breaking news here. Looks like California is going to open a criminal probe into Juul, the vaping company there, because we have nothing else important on this planet to focus on than that right now, I guess. We've got AutoZone tomorrow, CarMax tomorrow, Jabil Circuit tomorrow with earnings there. You got Nike tomorrow on earnings, 71 cents a share expected. Seagate Technologies paying out 63 cents a share. Awesome. And today is when CDW takes over for TSS in the S&P 500. So if you're adjusting there, you'll want to take care of that. I'll answer your questions now and then try to get to the bottom of why this doesn't stream the way I want it to. Cool. Oh boy. I don't like to get political here. I just like when, move as like a well-oiled machine. Like, just get things done, right? Companies, they grow so quick because if something doesn't work, they move on. They don't argue about it. They just move on. Put your personal opinions aside. What's best for the company. It just kills me how we can't get anything done. Haven't thought about BlackBerry in a long time. I don't think anybody's thought about BlackBerry in a long time. Let's see. Definitely defensive play call. Good call, Dustin. Our safe position portfolio, 6-time market gains. Oh, you're doing the defensive thing there. Well, you're one of them leading to the volume there. That's what I like about using charts, is you can actually see when things are starting to gain attention or lose attention. You know what I mean? So yeah, good. I like it. Can I play the trumpet? I can play it. You don't want me to. It's not very good. If I turn the camera about 90 degrees that way, there's a drum set in our studio here. That I like to play, but the trumpet, yeah, it doesn't. It sounds like, it doesn't sound like much actually when I do it. You think an uptrend for Alta just begins? Way too early for Alta. Now, if you're a bottom picker, Kramer says we're within 10% of a bottom. We talked about that on Friday. If you're a bottom picker, that's your chance. You'd like to see strong sort of days up off lows there, but way too early to say anything about an uptrend. Way, 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 way too early. Yeah. Cool. Oh, did I not cover GM today? No. So they met over the weekend, GM and the United Auto Workers Union there. I guess they didn't come to any agreement. 1,200 more workers laid off or furloughed. Fancier word. Any thoughts on buying the dip for FedEx? That's up to you. Yeah, that's up to you. That was a pretty interesting earnings call there. I personally would like to see it extended. If it were something where you're buying, sort of catching that falling knife thing, I like it to be extended, at least so that you get that feeling of, well, all right, even if I get a small bounce here, at least it's something. I do like counter trend plays, but I think it's early for FedEx that's as close as I can say to anything there. Well, that didn't work. Let's go over here. There we go. Yeah, Roku was back in the headlines today a little bit. And I don't think Roku's done to the downside there. He broke through all sorts of support there. 50-day moving average, your trend line. I think it's one of those where it fell so hard that it doesn't just snap back, like silver. Silver just snapped back today. It was incredible. You don't see that often. So careful, yeah. Yep. Sorry if I missed some of your questions there. BlackBerry is still a company, very much so. More of a software company than a hardware company, but yeah, they're still out there. Statistics in October, up or down. We're going to cover that in two weeks, actually. Yeah, 2 weeks from now. Ashish? What? Oh, I gotcha. Thoughts on volume and dark pools? How do you track it? Can you give me any? Yeah, it's like, is it necessary? What if you could track it? What would you do with it? Would it do anything for you? Would you know what to do with it if you could tell? It's just one of those catchy, cool, little secretive Wall Street things that a lot of people try to make money off of by selling you some sort of secret and how it all works. Doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Even if it's public, you can hide your order. Like I could hide, and I believe we do on a daily basis, Folio as well. You can hide the order that you're trying to buy and buy without anybody seeing you buy the order. It doesn't mean it's dark pool. It means it's just a hidden order on the public market. So it's not. Why would you want to track it? And if you could get the exact stats on that, would it matter? You can buy it, by the way, but what would you do with it? First ask that before you spend any money, because it gets pricey. No, I didn't see Jeffrey Skilling there, no. Thoughts on silver? Yeah, it was an impressive rally back today. That's like the kind of bounce you don't see that often. Gold also bounced back a little bit today. That sort of gap higher, that strength today, I'm going to guess, was a little bit on the short selling side, short covering side, I should say. We'll see, though. Yeah, that's impressive. That'll grab attention for sure. Buy physical silver, then you got to sell it one day, right? You don't like the silver trust? I get it. Some people don't. I told a story one time about a guy that bought physical gold. I mean, he had physical gold laying all around his house and stuff, and he needed to sell it. I'm like, I don't know. Why would you do that? Unless you like looking at it. All right, anyways, I'm going to wrap things up here for the day. I did cover everything. I did. I actually covered everything. All right, perfect. So we'll wrap it up here. We'll be back tomorrow to do this all over again. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Class this week here for our customers is we're going to talk about Social Security myths, some of the things that I see you guys getting wrong, and a lot of questions I get from people where they're just, it's not accurate, right? We got to go through what's accurate there with Social Security and how to make the most of it. So we'll see you there on Thursday, but we'll be back tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your day. Adios.
Hey, wait! Before you go watch one of our other great videos, have you had a chance to see our new FinTips videos? They focus on one topic at a time, covering investing, personal finance, and anything that can quickly help you with your dough. Best of all, we'll keep it real short, because we know time is money.
Why should you choose Jazz Wealth as your retirement or long-term investing service? Our portfolios are managed by us, not some faceless mutual fund manager. Our private classes will teach you everything about investing and getting your dough straight. Best of all, our fiduciary standard means your best interest comes before ours.